cozy this morning. I feel great. Hi, how are you? I'm Heather. This is the Oileánach Oileánach Knits podcast. Hi, it's Sunday morning. I'm just chilling, doing some knitting. Just released a new pattern today, so I thought it was a good day to podcast. And yeah, I'm not normally this hyper when I when I record, but I've just finished my morning coffee and went, wait a minute, I only have like 2 hours of daylight left, which is the sad truth of the North Atlantic in November. I've been having a weird time since the daylight savings came to make everything dark again, but that's fine. It's chill. I'm getting used to it now. It's been like a week. Yeah, so my main reason for recording today is that it is release day for the Foraois Mittens, and I'm really excited about that. I've been wearing this pair for the last year, and I sort of didn't even really design them with intent to put the pattern out because I just needed a pair of mittens, like ASAP, because it was winter and I couldn't find... I'd lost one of my pair that I had been wearing, and so I just knit these up really quick and then decided... In my first podcast, I talked about them and people asked for a pattern, so I updated the pattern, made some changes, made them fit a little nicer, and here we are. And these are available now on Ravelry, and I love them very much. They are knit in Plötulopi, which is one of my favorite yarns, the classic Icelandic yarn, and it is really cozy and warm. Very rustic wool that has a lot of great properties, and I love them very much. These are knit in, pull my sleeve up so you can see. These are knit with an optional very long hem, which I thought was fun in case you want to like tuck them into a coat or in case you want to fold it up. And they have a fun little thumb gusset situation coming out the side, so it's not like a fixed thumb. They have this fun colorwork pattern and pretty simple, like knit two together decreasing, and then a little Kitchener stitch to seal them up at the top. And I actually recently, very recently, like within the last couple of days, have noticed, like, I've seen some like reels on Instagram of people doing Kitchener stitch and realized I've been doing it very wrong. So I've got a little ridge up here, which I have in my original version as well, but it really relaxed over time, so you can't even really see it. I have no idea how I did the decreases on the first round, on the first pair. To be honest, I have no idea. It's not like here it's very visible that there's like decrease sections, but I have no idea. Because, I mean, I just slapped these together, honestly. But yeah, the Kitchener stitch. Apparently I've been doing it wrong. I need to really revisit this situation. But anyway, as long as you know how to do Kitchener stitches, it'll turn out fine. Yeah. So these are knit on size 4 needles, which is, what, 3.5 millimeters? And with like a slightly smaller needle for the ribbing. And they're very cozy and warm. I find, like, I've been wearing these for a year. I wore these all last winter, and I found them really good for, like, they keep my hands nice and warm. One of the the two big factors to staying warm in Newfoundland in the winter is, like, not getting wet and being windproof. Those are the two most important things, and these were really good for that. Yeah, I didn't really I didn't really find much in the way of wind getting in, which is like kind of sometimes the trouble with wearing knitted things as outerwear here. And yeah, I think the halo of this yarn is so thick that it really kind of stops that, and it kept my hands nice and dry, which was nice. So they're a pretty simple knit. I had kind of forgotten how quick of a deadline I had put these mittens on, and so I forgot to knit the second mitten basically. Like I knit the first one, was like, all right, that's all I needed to like write the pattern and get the test started, and then realized afterwards that I would indeed need to knit the second mitten at some point. And it took me, I think, 2 days to get this guy together. And yeah, so that's super fun. And here they are. My testers also came up with some really beautiful mittens, lots of interesting like yarn choices. Lots of people use the Plötulopi and use some really fun colors. So yeah, these are on Ravelry. The link will be down below if you want to check them out. Yeah, so I'm really excited to get these out. I feel like I've been doing a lot of accessory patterns this fall. And by a lot, I mean 2. Well, there's another one in test knitting, so like 3, really. But it's been interesting to have kind of like I've been working on sweaters pretty consistently for the last like year, and so it felt strange to go from that like very, very long, slow process to kind of deciding to make a pattern, knitting the sample, writing the pattern, getting it tested, getting it out in like only a few months, you know? Yeah, so that's been interesting for sure. I'm wearing some things, and they include the library shawl, lovely herringbone squishy delight that I've talked about a lot because I'm kind of obsessed with it and I wear it every day. So just a little update on that. The pattern is written. The test is about halfway done now, I think, and the test ends at the end of the month, end of November, so I'm hoping to get this published early December. Very exciting stuff. I'm also wearing my Ranunculus that I knit. Oh, the light is actually catching the texture quite nicely. Yeah, this is my Ranunculus knit in 2 strands of Plötulopi unspun, which I truly adore and have been obsessed with for many months now. This color, I don't totally remember. Maybe it's marsh heather, I think. It's kind of like, it's this really beautiful kind of deep brown with like deep green and flecks of kind of like a bronze color, and every now and then you get a fleck, you can see right there, of like vibrant green. It's very fun, and I love it very much. I think like this kind of swampy brown green is just a big delight for me. Yeah, I wear this a lot too. Mostly I think I wear it like inside a lot because, as you may see, it just has such a gaping neck, and I knit the like the pattern for the Ranunculus has 2 different necklines. There's like a more open neckline and a more closed one, and I knit the closed one and tried to make it a bit tighter, but it really just kind of stretched out. And I think maybe, yeah, I could have kind of done a bit more to like make the neckline I wanted and then kind of increased out to where the pattern started. But I find when I'm knitting someone else's pattern, I don't want to do that much work, you know? Like I do so much math and stuff figuring out my own designs that like I don't want to have to figure out someone else's design. I want to just knit it. So yeah, I don't know that I will do it again, to be honest, because of this and because I don't want to have to put that much work in. But when I wear a big scarf, I do love the sweater. So that's that. Okay, what else is going on? I'd like to show you my favorite lamp. I might have to turn it off so you can see it properly. I got this lamp at the thrift store recently and I'm really into it. It's super weird. It has like a metal base of some kind that is kind of like painted with like a textured paint to make it look like concrete, and then this like solid wood chunk, and then this little globe. I think it's so strange and excellent. I love weird lamps. It's one of my favorite things lately. And like this enormous shade. Yeah, I found that at a thrift store recently, but very unthrift store like. It was like 30 bucks, but I was like, it's so cool. I just want it. Yeah. My water bottle go right here. So things have been very busy lately. Yeah, I feel like I'm just kind of powering through pattern writing and testing and stuff lately, which is kind of cool because I feel like I'm normally quite slow with that kind of thing. And so that's been really fun. And also like I've been doing a little bit better at kind of focusing on one pattern and finishing it, or like one sample. And that's kind of the slowest part for me, is the sample knitting. So I've been trying really hard to just kind of like zone in on things and like get them done, which is cool. Feels a bit like, I don't know, like a bit too, I don't even know what word I'm looking for. A bit too like business minded, or a bit too like harsh for me. Like I like jumping around a bit, but at the same time it's really cool to finish things and be able to like wear them and stuff. Yeah, so like the design I've been focusing really hard on the last little while is this sweater that I am obsessed with. That's the back. Yeah, so I think I showed in my last episode, I had like done the yoke part, and I showed the sweater that it was kind of based on, that I found in a thrift store years ago. Yeah, so it's got like this real thick double ribbed neck, which I love. It's so comfy. And raglan with like a little raglan detail, and the lapa. And then the body, which is slightly cropped, has this really fun motif. I think it's like a is it Selbu rose? Selbu? Yeah, I think so. It's like a traditional Norwegian motif. And then the original sweater had like these big deep zigzags, but I didn't love that, so I just made like a little border down here. And I've just picked up to started decreasing the sleeve. And I'm a little unsure about the sleeve, to be honest. Like it just feels really big and really wide, which like I was trying it on obsessively as I was going down through the raglan, and I felt like I had come to like a really good point, but now trying it on, I'm not super sure about it. So I'm not totally sure what I'm going to do there. I think I'll just kind of leave it, like put it aside for a couple of days and then try it on again and see how I feel. I have to do that sometimes if there's like a difficult decision to be made, like if I have to rip back or something. And I've been knitting this in one strand of Plötulopi, so ripping it back would be like super duper no fun. That would be no fun at all. And I've got so much done, you know? It's just, it feels sad when you're almost done and you have to make a big edit like that. But I've been loving knitting with the Plötulopi single-stranded. It definitely seemed like a very intimidating thing before I started, but once I got into it, like I just really got into the rhythm of it, and like Like I love knitting with unspun yarn anyway, and I love how gentle it is. Like I love how much care, not really how much care goes into it, but I love kind of the tactile aspect of slowing down, and I love that it's a process that you have to get used to a little bit, and you have to kind of like feel out, but once you do, it's really rewarding. Yeah, and like the sweater itself is so squishy, like it feels amazing, and it's so lightweight. And I've knit with quite a tight gauge, I think. Like you can kind of see in the color work here. The lapa are a bit looser, but in the color work here you can see it's a fairly dense fabric either way, and like it still feels very warm. Like I wouldn't say that the like lightness of the fabric makes it any less warm, which is nice. And especially with the lapa going through the whole sweater, you've got 2 yarns being carried at all times. So that's nice. And it feels really nice. But I will, like when I write the pattern, I'll say like, if you don't want to knit with 1 strand of unspun, that's very understandable. Like it's kind of a big thing to take on. So you can hold a strand of mohair with it. That will, make it a lot stronger and a lot less easy to break. And you can hold, or you can just use a DK weight, I think it will be about that. So, up to you. But like I would totally encourage you to try the single strand because it's really fun. I really like it. Yeah, so I'm getting really excited for this sweater. I just want to wear it. I'm at that point now where I just want to finish it and put it on. And I'm really excited to see how like my testers will work with it and stuff like that. Yeah, so also I wanted to mention, this is what I have so far. So the entire body is done, and I've started on 1 sleeve, and I am just coming to the end of my 2nd plate of the orange. So that's 2 plates, and I've almost got a sweater. 3 plates and I will have the sweater, and I'm still like maybe only a third or like 1/4 of the way through the white. So that's pretty wild. It's very exciting to me to think about like how economically friendly that is. Yeah, so very excited about this sweater. Seems like a good moment to transition into thinking about how the test will come about. So for the first time, I think this sweater will be the first thing that comes through this way. I will be giving preferred spots, or like, first sign up of test knitting to my Patreon subscribers. Segue. I've set up a Patreon. Yeah, so this is something I was thinking about for a long time, and I felt very on the fence about for a lot of reasons. Some of them just kind of being like, why would anyone want to pay me? And, like lots of, what do you call it? Imposter syndrome kind of moments. But then also just kind of thinking about like, do I want to like veer away from actual like knitting and designing and more into like content creation? I've always hated the word content because it just seems so vague and empty. Yeah, so I definitely struggled with that for a while. But in the end, I kind of feel like I'm already doing a lot of that stuff, like with this podcast and with like, having to keep up with Instagram and stuff like that. And as much as I don't love the notion of it, like I don't love the idea of being kind of tethered to social media. Like I love the idea of just kind of deciding like, oh, I'm out for a little while. You know what I mean? Like I need a break. I'm gonna peace out and not touch my social media for a couple of months or something. Like, I love that idea, but I never really do it, you know what I mean? And yeah, it just kind of felt like I'm already engaging in this kind of work, this kind of like social media stuff. So why not just kind of like take some time to make some like more thoughtful and more intentional and more like artistically rendered content, I suppose. So yeah, all that to say that I did go ahead with it and I've set it up, and there are some things up already. So I've got 3 tiers set up at the equivalent of, for some reason it wouldn't let me set it up in Canadian dollars. I had to set it up in American dollars, and that seems kind of weird to me, but the equivalent of $5, $10, and $15 Canadian, which is, I think it looks like maybe $3, $7, and $12 American, something like that. I'm not totally sure. Yeah, so the first tier is kind of just like, it's like a little bit of a supportive tier, you know what I mean? Like, you know, maybe you just kind of want to buy me a coffee, I think is like an equivalency that people use a lot, or like just a little tip to say, like, you know, I enjoyed your podcast on YouTube or something like that. So that one is the most affordable, and it's, you know, mostly like the donation sort of thing, but you also will get 15% off one of my patterns every month. And that's like done through a code thing, discount code. Yes, and then I'm probably going to forget things right now, so I'm just giving you kind of a vague idea, but you can, the link will be below, and you can go to my Patreon and look at the actual things you will get for each tier, just so I don't feel like I'm going to forget something. Yeah, and so then the next tier will have a 25% discount code every month, plus some little like dispatches from my design studio, and a Q&A video every month. And then the top tier has a free pattern every month, which is very fun, I think, and everything else plus like some more in-depth videos on where I'll like kind of like walk you through a little, maybe like a workshop or tutorial kind of thing, not on knitting, but on like design and that whole side of things. So I've got some really fun ideas for those coming up. I've got one that I've already posted for like this month that I made it viewable to the middle and top tier just as like a little introductory thing. And that was really fun to make, actually. It's about like I go into a particular landscape that I wanted to design something for or about or in or with, and so I kind of talk about that a little bit, show you around the landscape and like different particular features of it. I talk about it a lot. I like read an excerpt from an essay I wrote about it at one point, and then I kind of like show you how I design like a swatch or a motif based on that. So that's pretty fun. I had a lot of fun making it, actually. Yeah, so that's up there on my Patreon now if you want to subscribe. And there's a Q&A video up there already as well. And then I'll be creating new little things every month. So yeah, if you're interested or want to check it out or anything, that link will be below. Cool. There was another thing that I meant to mention, and I should do it now before I forget, which is I have failed to mention this in every podcast episode I've made since, but I am running a knit along that I just keep forgetting to talk about, and so it is the oileánach Cal. Basically, if you want to knit any of my patterns before the end of the year, you can just start the pattern. You don't need to finish it or anything like that. But yeah, just there is a hashtag, which is oileánach Cal, oileánach Kal. It'll be down below, all the information. It's just started raining again. It's always raining. Yeah, so the hashtag on Instagram, or there is a Ravelry thread, and I have at least one prize. Maybe I should show you some prizes. Do you want to see them? That could be cool. I've got them like upstairs already, actually. There will be at least one prize, but if there's a lot of people entering, I might toss out some more. And yeah, that's gonna be lots of fun. I've done a really bad job so far of like talking about it and therefore like letting people know that it's even happening, but I promise it is happening, and I will be sending a prize, so if you want it, you can you can enter that. I'm gonna go grab some of the prizes actually and show you. Okay, so to explain a tiny bit, my prize plan. I'm in a fun mood this morning. Anyway, my prize plan is to gift skeins from my stash, basically. So I have a fair few moments where I've got like kind of one skein left of something from a project, or like a skein where I got kind of a color and decided it wasn't right for the project. So these are all, yarns that I would love to use or knit with, but kind of also don't have like a plan for or a purpose for at the moment. And I am happy to work with the winner and kind of like let them have their pick. As long as that works out in case I draw for more than one winner kind of thing. But anyway, I have two skeins of the fiber company Cumbria, which I knit one of my Gimri sweaters with. And these are like really luxurious wools that I personally didn't enjoy working with because I like something a bit more toothy and rustic. But I mean, they're so soft and beautiful. They are a lustrous blend of Masham wool, merino, and mohair. And this color is St. Bees Beach. It's like a kind of like a honey color. It's actually really nice. And this is one of the colors that I used, called Barrow, which is just like a really lovely brown. Yeah, so I've got these two. I have a skein of this really lovely kind of like loosely spun worsted weight yarn from, what am I doing? I'm looking for the label. Fleece and Harmony, which is a mill and wool company from PEI. And this is, where is it? Okay, I can't find the Selkirk worsted, yeah, in the colorway Pearl, which is kind of like a really cool gray, like with maybe like a little hint of a bluish tinge, and that's really nice. But I bought it for a color work project and it wasn't enough of a contrast, so this guy. I have a skein of Woolfolk Tove DK in, not seeing a colorway here. No, I'm not seeing a colorway, but it's like a deep foresty green, which is really nice. And this is a curious wool. It's like, I have no idea how many plies it is. It's like a very it's a total tube. Like it doesn't, I don't know, it's hard to kind of tell, but it's very sleek. It is 160 yards in 50 grams. And it's 100% Ovis 21 Ultimate Merino wool. Yeah, so that's kind of fun. It's very drapey, like, and I have Stolen Stitches yarn by Carol Fella, Newa Sport. And this is really fun. It is 60% merino wool, 20% yak, 20% linen. And yeah, so I initially picked this up at a local yarn shop that used to be here, but I bought the wrong color because I already had a couple skeins of the yellow at home, and then I brought this one home to go with that, which clearly was not the right color. And this is like a really fun kind of burnt orange. Color is Harvest Moon, and it's 140 meters in 50 grams. It's a sport weight. So this is really fun too. So these are some things that could be prizes for whoever wins. So if you want to enter, all you have to do is begin knitting one of my patterns and use the hashtag oileánach. So that's fun. And those are all of my announcements. Now back to works in progress. Yeah, so I have been focusing more lately on like finishing particular things. I kind of briefly mentioned last time that I had been working on the Stockholm Slipover, but I didn't have it with me. So here is what I have so far. I've got the large amount of the body done. So where's the armhole? Here. So I probably only have a few inches left to go, and then the ribbing, but I ran out of the main color, and I eventually broke down and ordered some, so that should be here hopefully this week. I ordered it from a yarn shop in Toronto last week sometime, and I still haven't gotten, like, I got the order confirmation email, but I didn't get the shipping email, so I'm a little confused about that. Not sure if I just like missed it or accidentally tossed it in a spam folder or something. Job to say. Yeah, this has been weird. Like, it feels so nice. Oh my gosh. It's got like Knitting for Olive silk mohair in the pearl gray, and then I'm using the main color. I'm using oh my gosh, it's like my favorite yarn, Tukuwool fingering weight in this number 2. Is it Humu? I can never remember. But it's the second gray, the kind of like cool neutral gray. And really excited. I've been like, I don't know why it took me so long to start knitting like full-on garments with Tukuwool. I guess because like when I first bought some Tukuwool, I bought like one of each of the colors that I liked, and so it was like a pretty natural progression to make like smaller accessories with color work. But now I've kind of got like bits left over from all of that, and I want to kind of think about making some bigger projects. I have a design plan that I have the Tukuwool for, and I'm really excited about that, but I have no idea when I'm gonna get to cast it on because I have so many garments in the works right now. But yeah, so this pattern, Stockholm Slipover by Petite Knit, this is my first Petite Knit pattern actually, and I will say that I I did not enjoy knitting this, but I think I'm going to love the finished product. Yeah, like I think there was a lot of kind of like knitting a little tiny piece and then like picking up stitches or like putting things on hold and like knitting another tiny thing and then connecting that to something, and like I did not enjoy that at all. I get that it's probably going to make a nice garment, but the process itself was really unpleasant. Like I don't know. I like to like generative knitting where you're kind of like working on a thing and then you like you're building it as you go, as opposed to like just attaching little pieces, you know what I mean? And you know, I guess that's all well and good, but I don't know how I would manage to knit a vest in that way, you know what I mean? Like without, yeah, it's something I want to try actually, because I have an idea for a vest pattern and I want to find a way of making it a simpler process. But then I don't know if it's gonna make as nice of a product. So that's a little experiment that I intend to do at some point. Yeah, so I'm so close to this, and it's like, it's kind of maddening, especially given that I finally broke down and bought the yarn, and it's been 2 weeks and it's still not here. I definitely considered just taking, I've got a really similar color to this in some Jameson and Smith upstairs, and I really considered just kind of like doing the edging in that. But in the end, I just don't think it would look as good, and I think this is going to be something that I want it to be exactly as it's going to be, and I want to wear it all the time. I'm so excited about it, and if I could, like, I think once I have finished this and worn it a bunch, and the memory of wearing it has, like, superseded the memory of all the fiddly knitting, I think I will want to make another at that point. But for now, I'm really not interested in doing that again. Yeah, I think I'd like to have like a darker one. I have a lot of like dark long sleeve shirts and sweaters and stuff, so I thought this would be a good starting point, but I think it would be good to have the reverse available as well. Maybe. I don't know. I'm very excited. I think it's gonna be really fun. I'm really excited to wear this. I've been contemplating just like wearing it around still on the needles, basically. I mean, around the house. But I'm trying to be good about it and not like ruin it before I ever get to wear it. So another fun little project I've been working on. This one's just like purely for fun. I have knit like almost exclusively like very neutral, like natural toned things. And the other day I watched Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, which is one of my favorite Wes Anderson movies. And I just got really drawn into the bright red hat. I thought it was super fun, and I've been actually thinking about a very, very obnoxiously bright red hat for ages. I bought like a canvas jacket that's like a royal blue, like basically this color, in Paris this summer, and ever since I've had that, I've been thinking it would look great with a obnoxiously red hat. So I finally went to the one kind of craft store that we do have, or like kind of yarn store. They carry almost exclusively Briggs and Little and drops, so like nothing I normally use, and I have complained about Briggs and Little many times on here in the past, so I won't go too deep into it. But basically I was just thinking like my obnoxious bright red hat is like, I've got plenty of like good sturdy winter hats. This one's a fashion choice, not a like practical choice. So I don't, and like again, like I just ordered that skein of Tukuwool, and like it was really annoying to have to pay the shipping for it and stuff. So I was like, this is for fun. Like I don't need to pay the shipping to get a nice bright red wool, I think I can just suck it up and go get some Briggs and Little Sport. So yeah, I don't love this wool, but it's for fun. It's fine. And one thing that Briggs and Little does have is like obnoxious colors. So yeah, I just picked up the super duper bright red, and I was housing at the time and didn't have my winding, so I made these like tiny perfect sphere like hand wound balls of yarn, which was an absurd use of time. And I have been working on just like a classic ribbed hat. I wound up going with, just because of the weight of this yarn, and I didn't want to have to figure it out. That's the thing, like when I'm just talking so fast right now. When I knit projects from other designers, I don't want to have to stop and figure things out. Like I just want to be able to follow the instructions blindly. And yeah, I think that's just because I spend so much time having to figure out all the math for my own designs. So I've got a few, like, you know, Pearl Soho has a bunch of nice free patterns for hats and things, but I was like, nope, I want one that's specifically this weight so that I don't have to do any math. So I got the hipster hat from Petite Knit, because I like the shaping at the top as well. That's another thing that I think about. I think, who is it? Is it Inga from Knitting Traditions? Has like mentioned like the condom hat effect of like that little like bubble at the top. And so I was very aware of that. I did not want to have that situation going. I just wanted something that would be like perfectly rounded around the top. So this one had a nice thing going. It's like, it's looking really tiny. Like this is like, oh no, I guess that is kind of the size of my head, but it looks really tiny knitting it, but obviously it's very stretchy. So I think that's fine. And I'm excited about it. I've got the brim folded up now just so I can like see how much more I need to knit to like fit me the way I want it to. But, you know, got this much done so far, and I've been, you know, picking at this very sporadically. This is currently my like mindless knit that can go along if I'm going to like a coffee shop or something like that. Because everything else I'm working on kind of needs thought. Yeah, so I'm excited about this. I think it's just going to be really fun. To get off the needle part right now. I love what I just did to my hair. That's great. All these strings. I just wanted to try it on. Yeah, no, I think this is gonna be really fun. And I actually am thinking I might leave this one above the ears as like an indoor hat kind of thing. This is something I think about sometimes. I can't wait to see how this is gonna turn out for my hair. Yeah, this is something I've been thinking about as like, you know, when it's just like a really cold night and you want to, I don't know, you're gonna go for like a drink with a friend, or you're gonna go to some other thing, I don't know, and you want to just continue to wear a hat the whole time, like you don't want to have to take it off. That's what that's gonna be, I think. It's gonna be my indoor hat. Yeah, I went to a workshop yesterday at the local print shop, like screen printing shop, and it was a film developing workshop. There's this really cool organization here. My partner was actually one of the founders, called, actually I won't tell you what it's called because it's a local in-joke that won't make any sense. It's called Dark NL. It's not going to make any sense, but basically their organization is a community darkroom for like photography, but they haven't actually got the community darkroom yet, so they're kind of just like doing a lot of like workshops and talks and stuff like that now to like lead up to the capacity to set up a community darkroom. So there was a really cool workshop with like a photo or like a film developing process using instant coffee, and it was really fun and interesting. And an old friend of mine was the one, like the artist giving the workshop, and I saw lots of friends that I haven't seen in a while, so that was really nice. Where am I going with this? Oh my god, it's snowing! I hate everything. Anyway, oh no. Where I was going with that is that it was really cold in the print shop. Like it has like a really old building right down on the harbor, and it has really high ceilings. And it was freezing, and I was wishing that I had an indoor hat to wear. So I think that's what my obnoxious bright red hat is going to become. And I picked up some obnoxious bright blue for my partner. Yeah, he's been, it's a long story, but he's been gone on a work trip for almost 2 months now. It's a lot. And one of my like methods of missing him, I guess, has been knitting him things. So he got a pair of the mittens as well, and I'm working on some socks for him. Yeah, so he's getting a bright blue hat. Yeah, so that's all my like current like works in progress that I've actually been working on. Yeah, because like I said, I've been trying to actually focus on things and finish them. I'm looking right now at a little swatching party that I'm gonna, like I was doing this morning, and I'm gonna go back to when I finish this up, whereby a really cool wool maker, producer, yarn maker, has asked me to like potentially collaborate on something super weird, and I'm really excited about it. And I've been kind of like trying to come up with ideas all week, but I finally like kind of landed on something, and I'm now kind of swatching it out. So who knows, hopefully you see that soon. I think you'll be very excited about it, because I sure am. It's like a material that I've never used in this way before, and so that's really fun and exciting. Yeah, oh, I also have I have a artist residency coming up next spring, that's going to be focusing on natural dyeing and like designing from a particular landscape, and like using the plant matter from that landscape to dye the wool and then make a design based on that, which is really exciting, and I'm very excited about it. So the yarn that I was using up until now for my natural dyes was Wool of the Andes from Knitpicks. And I just like bought a big sack of that, or not a sack exactly, but I bought a little pack of that when I first started getting into the notion of dyeing and like wondering what I could do with it. And I just don't love the wool, and like I've been noticing like I don't think it takes the dye very well. I can't see it now, but when I like did my dye bath, or did my like last batch of dyes, one of the skeins had like a little, I guess like cotton thread around it or something that was just holding like some of the yarn together, and I noticed that thread took the dye so much better than the wool did, and that was disappointing, obviously. I really like the color of the thread. So I've been wanting to try something different. Like I don't feel very connected to this wool. Like it's just not what I would pick if I was gonna do it now, sort of thing. And I'm running low on it anyway, and I'll need to like buy more for the residency. So I've been trying to like look around and think about what I will try next and like what I might want to use. So I ordered 2 skeins from Custom Woolen Mills, which is in Alberta in Canada. And it's a mill, and they have lots of kind of custom bases. They have some that they dye themselves, and they have some that they've worked with like a natural dyer in residence or something like that with. And then they've got kind of the undyed shades. So I wanted to try out 2 of them. One of them, this is the Mule Spinner. It's 100% natural wool grown and processed in Canada. So I assume it's like a mixture or something. That's something that always really bothers me actually about like the kind like wool that you can get in Canada for the most part, same with Briggs and Little, is that it never tells you, like it seems to be just kind of like a random mix of breeds or something. Like it doesn't tell you anything about what, like where it actually came from. And I don't love that, to be honest. But anyway, so this is Mule Spinner yarn, 2-ply. It looks like it's like maybe like, what's the half woolen spun or partly woolen spun kind of thing? Yeah, 'cause it's not like super sleek. It feels like nice and rustic. I don't know why I got the dark brown. I'm not sure if that's like a problem of me accidentally dyeing or buying the wrong color, or if it's a product of like them sending the wrong color or just not having the right color in stock. So I can't really dye this because it's very dark, but I do really like it, and I think I'll use it for something and feel really excited about it. It's probably going to be hard to really see. You can kind of see a little bit. It's like, yeah, it's got a nice texture. It's got a bit of like nice natural heathering, and yeah, it's just like a nice thick rustic yarn. Does it say worsted? It might be toward an Aran. Like it's quite thick, and that's I think like not what I'd want generally, but I think for this particular residency I'm gonna want like a worsted or Aran kind of weight, just because I've only got 3 weeks to like come up with the design, collect all the materials, dye all the wool, and then knit the sample. It's kind of tight, so I'm obviously not going to do that on a fingering weight. Yeah, so I think this is going to be the one that I go with. And you can get cones, I think, of the undyed, so that's probably what I'll do, so that I can just kind of like test out different dyes on like smaller amounts, and then kind of like skein up a ton to do like the main color, and then like smaller colors, different things. I'm really excited. I think that's going to be so much fun. Yeah, so I think I found a winner over here. As long as I can get an actual like lighter shade that I can actually dye on. The shipping on this was absurd though. I think it was like $30 shipping for the 2 of these or something crazy like that. So that's really no fun. I hope I can figure something out. Maybe there's a cheaper or free shipping once you kind of buy so much. I hope so. And then this is the other one that I bought to try out, and I don't think I'll be using this, but it's really interesting. This is the Prairie Wool. Once again, just 100% natural wool grown and processed in Canada. Very vague. Medium soft spun, 112 grams to 137 meters. I did actually work that out to a more even, like what is it per 100 meters kind of thing, or not 100 meters, 100 grams, like just to be able to compare it to other things, but I don't know what I did with that. I don't know where it is now. So I think this is like a 3 plies of unspun, kind of like lightly twisted together, which is curious and interesting. And the unspun itself is so soft, so I would really love to be able to like get this just as an unspun, honestly. I think that would be really nice. So probably what I will do is try to unwind it and like take the plies apart. I have tried doing that before with things, and I don't have that kind of like patience and like fine motor skills to be able to like do that properly without making an absolute mess. But we'll see. Maybe someday when I'm feeling exceptionally calm, I'll try it. But yeah, I think it would be an interesting experiment, and I am curious to actually look and see if they do sell it as like unspun. That would be cool. I don't know though. Anyway, so this was a fun little experiment, and I'm excited to kind of play around with these and see how that goes. That's all the knitting stuff I've got for you today. I haven't really crafted on anything else lately, unless you want to talk about like the writing craft. I've been very hard at work on why am I saying two? I've been very hard at work on the edits for my next book, which is a double novella, so there's 2 different novellas in the one book, and that comes out next year, and the kind of like not final I don't think, but like the current edit I'm working on is due by the end of the year, so I've been trying to like crunch down and get working on that this week, which has been really fun actually. I think like once I went into school mode, I kind of put writing on the back burner for a while, but it's really nice to be working on that again. And school is almost over, which is nice. I'm really having no fun. I just need to like power through and finish my last assignments, and then it'll be done and I will never go back. Don't hold me to that obviously, but I don't think so. I can't see it happening. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna go make myself a cup of tea and go back to swatching on this fun little experiment I'm working on, and I hope you have a lovely Sunday, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your week. I hope you have a lovely... You're just having a great time, whatever it is you're working on right now. Yeah, so I'll see you again soon. Certainly I will see you at the end of the month when I have my library shawl ready for testing, and no, not for testing, for release. This is going to be released in a couple of weeks, and then the big rust Plötulopi sweater, I need to come up with a name for that. Usually the name is so obvious to me, but this time I've been calling it the rust thrift jumper, and I never even used the word jumper, so I don't know where that came from. But anyway, that stuff's all coming soon. So is other stuff. I don't know. Happy Sunday. Bye.